Hi, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Form Check Friday, everybody. We're gonna get down to it. This first video comes from Alex Guideday, I believe is how you say his name. Alex Guideday, if you want to resubmit your video, I don't have access to the link here for some reason, but we will we'll put you in priority for the next one if you get us that video. All right, so Matthew Lewis here, Toronto, Ontario, hoping to come out and train. 2 videos of him deadlifting. He's got deadlifting 390 for a single, squatting 380 for a single. The squat was a 3rd attempt at a mock meet, and he's currently about 7 weeks out from his first meet. All right, cool. So, first and foremost, we have his deadlift. So here he is, setting up. Looks like he's using chalk in a commercial gym. That's a faux pas. All right, so a couple pumps. And here we go. Cool. So first things first, my man. All right, Matthew, so what I'm gonna get you to do, or what I'm going to advise rather, it looks like you're doing a good job of creating tension on the bar, but I think you could get yourself into a little bit of a better starting position. Looks like your hips are a little bit high. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see you actually sink your butt down lower, because it looks like we're starting in a little bit too much of a stiff leg position, and because of that, you're losing your back position right as you initiate your pull. So if we can start your butt just a little bit lower, try and pull those lats down, get a little bit more extension through that mid back, and just think about using your quads to push it off the floor. I think that's gonna give you a little bit of a boost in what you're gonna be capable of for a single rep. Might feel a little tough off the floor and a little awkward to start off with, but it will help. Next, we're gonna take a look at his squat. He's got his singlet on, he's ready to go. And getting ready. There we go. All right. So nice solid walkout. Gets the signal. Awesome. Honestly, as far as squats go, I really don't see anything wrong with your squat. I would just continue doing what you're doing and getting strong. There was really nothing wrong with that. You kept your position in the hole. Your walkout was good. You can maybe shorten that to 2 steps from 3, but that's just being nitpicky. Upper back tension looks good. Keep it nice and tight, no excessive knee travel, you're not getting loose, your back position's not going anywhere. Like, your squat looks really good, man. Honestly, I'm not even gonna critique that. So just keep doing what you're doing, get more practice with it. Next up, we have Guillermo Nieto. Very exciting name. So Guillermo is deadlifting here. So, looks like he's got 185 or so on the bar there, set of 4 or 5. So honestly, you mostly look good there, Guillermo. What I would probably do is bring your stance a little bit closer together. It looks like you're pretty long-limbed. So what's happening, it looks like, is because your feet are a little bit wide, it's forcing your grip out wide so you can get outside of your knees and not crowd yourself and have your knees crash, which is good. You're doing good things with your hips right now. But what I want you to do is bring your stance in a little bit and maybe let your hips start a tiny bit higher, because it looks like you're kind of having to almost squat it up, less so than hinge it up. It looks like your shin angle is a little far forward for what I would generally recommend. So what I would try to do is start in a little bit more of a stiff leg position with your feet a little bit closer together and really work on keeping that back nice and tight. It looks like we're kind of kicking back onto the heels, the butt's coming up anyways. So what I would do is start with your hips a little bit higher, like I said. That should allow you to sort of build tension in a more optimal position and get a little bit more consistent with your starting position and therefore with your pull. Next one, we have Victor Rodriguez. What's up, man? I'm Victor from Mexico. If you can help me in my squat, I want to reach the 400s, but he's hit a plateau in the mid 300s. So this is the last set of a 4x4 with 275 pounds, but his battery dies. So we'll see how much of this we got. All right, so Guillermo? No, this isn't Guillermo. This is Victor. I apologize, Victor. All right, so Victor, looking like we're maybe rushing the setup a little bit, a little shaky on the walkout. All right. Pretty straight up and down. And we got 2 of the 4 reps there. So first thing I would do, Victor, is I would slow down your setup a little bit, be a little more purposeful, a little bit more intent in your setup. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a little bit tighter, get your upper back tighter, get your abs tighter before you pick up the bar. And then I want you to take more purposeful steps. So right now you can kind of see you're stutter stepping back a little bit, kind of unsure of where the weight is, your balance is a little bit off to start off with. Even just psychologically, if you start your lift that way, it can have a big impact on how the rest of your lift goes. So one of the reasons you might be having trouble as the weight increases is because you're not getting set as tightly as you could, even just when you're first getting set up under the bar. So that'd be the first thing I would work on, is that walkout. Upper back tightness looks decent. The only thing I'm kind of seeing here is I think we might try to get you to kick your weight back onto your heels just a tiny bit more, and try to get a little bit more depth. So it looks like right now you're kind of right on the line with your depth. I think if you get a little bit more depth, you're gonna get a bit better stretch reflex out of the bottom, so you're gonna get a little bit of that spring to start the first phase of the concentric in your lift, so the first part of the upward phase. But I really wouldn't change much. I would maybe take a look at your programming if you're plateauing. Could be you're not squatting enough, maybe not enough volume, maybe not enough frequency, and it could just be a psychological thing too. But biggest things I would work on there, Victor, is I'd work on getting a little bit more solid with your walkout, and trying to get a little bit more depth. Next one comes from Manny Mock. He's attached a video of sumo deadlift 210 for 6. Need to get tighter lats, bar closer to the body, etc. Wants to know if there's anything I notice. So let's take a look here. Manny. Video is loading. All right, and we're in fast forward here. Okay, there we go. So, looks like decent setup. So we could probably get a little bit more extension. It looks like you're kind of a bit far forward as you initiate your pull. Your shoulders are almost a little bit in front of the bar. Mechanics look really good. You're kind of getting pretty jerky, as you can see on rep, what is that? That was rep 6 there. So you're kind of jerking into the bar. Looks like we can create a little bit more tension. So, I mean, your back position, your movement, all looks really good, but I think your starting position is kind of throwing you off. If you watch the very beginning of your lift, again, you're a slight tiny bit in front of the bar with your shoulders. So what that's gonna do is that's gonna pull you onto your toes, that's gonna pull the bar forward, and that's gonna pull your lats out of position. So what I would do to fix that is I would try to get a little bit more extension in your upper back. So it looks like your low back, your mid back, everything's holding really well, but you could probably get your shoulders down so your lats on a little bit more, and just get that tiny last little bit of extension from your upper back to bring that shoulder back in line with the bar so we're not out in front of it. That, I think, is gonna fix all those things that you mentioned in your email, the bar getting out in front of you, getting onto your toes, etc. So to me, it looks like it's all in the setup here, and also in creating more tension before you start your pull. Especially with the sumo deadlift, we don't ever really want to be jerking into the bar. You don't want to hear the bar rattle. What you want to do is you want to pull yourself down to the bar. So are you a top-down setup? Let's see. Kind of. So what I would try, Manny? Yes, what I would try, Manny, is I would get your grip set on the bar, start with your hips nice and high, and pull your lats tight as you sit your butt down, and then that right before you pull, just kind of pull your chest up a tiny bit without moving anything else. So that should help get you more in line over the bar. Our last form check comes from Philip Labatt. He's new to the channel, loves the videos. So it'll be the Form Checks wants to shoot a volume set of squats our way. 3 sets of 10 at 300 pounds. Felt around an 7 RPE for this set. Issues he's been noticing with his squats is depth consistency. If we have any pointers, anything would be appreciated. All right, Phil, let us view this. So let's see what's going on here, buddy. All right. So Phil's getting set here. Setup looks good. Upper back's nice and tight, real strong unrack, good walkout. Almost a little overtucked with the hips there, but it looks like he's keeping everything in line. All right, so on rep 1, I can kind of see why you're having troubles with inconsistency here, Phil. The biggest thing I'm seeing is you're just getting a little bit loose. You're not controlling the eccentric as much as I generally recommend. Honestly, your depth looks good on every rep I've seen so far, though. Yep, still good. I mean, I can see what you're saying. You're a little on the line on some of them, and you're probably noticing that you're gonna get a little bit more loose on some and a little bit less looseness on others. That was a sick cameo by his buddy there. So yeah, the biggest thing I think, Phil, is gonna be just controlling your eccentric a little bit more. So continue to film them from the side. I think that's gonna be really valuable for you to review each set and then go back mentally and think about how that set felt. So what I want you to do is just control that eccentric portion a little bit, so the lowering phase, and try to make sure you're hitting the exact same spot each time. Right now I can't squat really with any looseness in the bottom, so I'm pretty controlled all the way down. But what I usually recommend is control as much of it as you can, and then just use the tiniest little bit of bounce that you can out of the bottom to get that stretch reflex. Right now it looks like you're kind of just hitting the bottom and bottoming out. So slow it down a little bit. That's gonna be really hard on like sets of 10 with any appreciable amount of weight. But especially on your heavier work, you're gonna wanna slow down that eccentric phase. Try to work on getting a little bit more consistent with your bottom position. That's about it. Honestly, your squats look really good. I wouldn't change much, but that would be the one little bit of advice that I have. All right, that's it for Form Check Friday, guys. We will see you next time. I'm gonna get back to beating Dylan in the arms race.